Update. My wife came home after cheating on me with her coworker, so I paid her back by taking everything she had. Candace continued with her shady activity, so one day I decided to stay up and check her phone after she went to sleep. That evening, I was doing my work in the living room, and she was on her phone for 2 straight hours, looking worried while texting someone. I didn't ask because she was only going to lie straight to my face. After an hour, she was inside our bedroom, sleeping peacefully. Let me tell you guys, we haven't had intimacy for a month now. Even on days I tried initiating it, she told me she was tired. But I never let it be the reason for an argument. As I was about to reach for the phone, it started buzzing, and it was an unknown number calling her. I took the phone outside the room and answered the call. There was a woman on the other end screaming something which almost made me throw up. The woman was screaming and saying that she finally found her number, and if she did not stop having intimacy with her husband, she would tell everyone in the office and make her jobless. As soon as she finished her sentence, I told her I was her husband, and there might be some misunderstanding. The woman, whose name is Jenny, was the wife of Matthew, who works in the same office as Candace. She gave me her address and asked me to meet her, as there was something she wanted me to know. Let me tell you guys, that the worst thing to experience in life is getting hit in the back by the person who took an oath to be there for you for the rest of your life. All this while, I was praying and wishing that all my assumptions turned out to be false. I loved her, and I didn't want to think that on days she refused to sleep with me, because she was busy sleeping with her colleague. The next day, I went to meet Jenny. She was pregnant and younger than me and Candace, which made me feel bad for her. She was 8 months pregnant. She told me that her husband was cheating on her with Candace. Her eyes were teary, and for some reason, I couldn't cry. I felt only one emotion, which was anger. It felt sad and a very cruel thing to do to your pregnant wife, and my wife was a part of it. She opened the tab, and it had images of Matthew and Candace. Not just pictures, but a video of them having intimacy. Jenny had got those videos from Matthew's phone the last evening, and they had a confrontation. That was the reason Jenny was worried and texting someone last evening. I felt bitter taste in my mouth and cried my heart out. I asked her to send me all those pictures and promised her that Candace would suffer for wrecking her house. She told me that she was going to file for divorce, but I intentionally asked her to wait a few days so she could enjoy the disaster as well. After leaving Jenny's house, I drove off to my brother's place. He has 2 kids and has always been a great advisor in my life. I was sitting next to him until I passed out. After 2 hours, I woke up with a throbbing pain in my head, and my brother was sitting on the sofa rubbing my feet. After having a warm cup of espresso, he started asking me different questions, and I understood none. I gave him my phone and asked him to open the gallery and see what's inside. He looked disgusted and immediately put the phone on the table. I told him about everything, and there he interrupted me and gave me more information that she had been cheating before the promotion in her previous team. Matthew was her team leader, and there could be a way she did that for promotion. One thing about Candace that I forgot to mention is her greed. She always earned her own money and always bought her stuff, but she was greedy for fame and position. I was not surprised if that was the case. James was the owner of the company, but he always worked from home to give more time to his wife. Anyway, he's a great brother and husband. I asked him why he didn't tell me all this. He said he was investigating into the matter and didn't want to take any action based on rumors. He didn't have any evidence to prove his point, so he remained shut. I drove off home and had already practiced acting normal like nothing had happened before. As I went in, Lily came running towards me, and I held her in my arms, giggling. Candace walked towards me, and told me happily that she made my favorite lasagna. I felt like throwing up after dinner. Well, it was hard to eat with her, and I wanted to put an end to this as soon as possible. She is evil. I was going inside my office, but Candace hugged me from behind. I turned my face towards her. She was wearing her red dress. She used to look beautiful, but today she looked so disgusting to me that it was hard for me to look at her. She asked me whether I picked up that call last night, to which I immediately said no. She again asked me and told me I could tell the truth, and she wouldn't be mad. But I was not a fool, and I disagreed again. I was following her path of lying and gaslighting the situation. She pushed me onto the bed and whispered in my ear that Lily had slept. I asked her if she was feeling tired as usual. She looked at me in disbelief and refused. I tried resisting, but I gave in. It's going to hit her hard after she will know that I already knew about the things she has been doing and how disgusting she is. It was the most thrilling intimate moment we ever had, and I wasn't guilty about how it was going to make her feel. She was using me for emotions, so this time I did it. After she fell asleep, I took out my arm from under her head, left the room, and headed towards my office. I had 3 missed calls from James. I called him back, and he asked me to meet him tomorrow, as it was something he couldn't tell me on the phone. I went inside Lily's room and looked at her. I felt so bad and angry at Candace. How could she steal her own daughter's childhood and our happiness? I'm just not able to sleep thinking about what is stored for me next. I will make another update after I get done with everything.